So I hate to say this, but you've been lied to about Etsy SEO. And in fact, we all have. This is because all you hear online is to get as many keywords into your Etsy listing titles and tags as you possibly can. When in reality, Etsy SEO is so much more than this. Because you literally might have the perfect keywords used in your Etsy listings, but I can almost guarantee you're still not reaching the full sales potential on most of your Etsy listings. That's why through my 2 years of growing my own successful Etsy business to multi-six-figure revenues, I've come to learn exactly what else you need to do to get your listings to the top pages of Etsy for your target audiences. And because I love all of you so much, I've broken these down into 5 tips that I'm going to share with all of you today in this video. So I want to get straight into this one, and the first Etsy SEO tip I'm going to give is to improve the CTR, or the click-through rate, of your thumbnail images. So this one's a little bit of the chicken and egg, right? Because you might think that you need your listings high up in the search rankings in the first place in order to get more people to click on them. But that's the chicken, and before that comes the egg. So one of the major factors that the Etsy algorithm looks at is click-through rate of your product. So this is essentially how many people are shown your item on screen compared to how many of those people actually click on your item. So for example, if your item's shown to 100 people and only one of those people click on your item, then this would give you a click-through rate of 1%. And essentially what we're gonna try and achieve here is to get your click-through rate as high as it possibly can be. So I mean, how exactly do we do this? Well, my best advice and the number one place I would start is to improve your thumbnail images, to make them bold, make them stand out, and make them pop out of the screen to get people to click on them in the first place. And just as a general rule, however much time you're putting into your thumbnail images now, I can almost guarantee you should be putting more time into them because they're that important. So I mean, just look at your best-selling items and consider what these items are doing well compared to your other items that aren't selling as good. Look at the differences in the thumbnail images that you're using. And if you're really stuck, I recommend as a super quick way to make your image stand out more is to blur the background, because this is just really gonna make your image pop out of the screen, and it's definitely gonna get more clicks on your image. But yeah, click-through rate is definitely something that the Etsy algorithm is looking at, and it's normally a pretty good tell of if your listing's of high quality or not. And of course, Etsy likes high quality listings. So moving on to the second point now, and this is to utilize the copy listing hack. So I honestly can't believe that this is still available to do on Etsy, and you just have to take advantage of it. So if you go to literally any of your Etsy listings, you're gonna see an option to copy listing. And this is amazing because it literally gives us twice as many opportunities to test out new Etsy SEO technique on our shop. And you can literally do this as a side-by-side comparison of 2 identical listings, but just using, for example, different keywords or different titles or different tags in the copied listing compared to your original listing, and then just see which one performs best. I mean, I'm no brain surgeon, but I would then say that whichever listing's performing best, it's probably because the SEO practices are a lot better on that listing. So you then say to yourself, well, what have I learned by doing this? Whatever practices I've used that are proven to work better than other practices, you then want to take that and multiply that to all of your other Etsy listings. So then you've got store-wide SEO improvements just from this one bit of copy and paste testing. And in my opinion, it's just such a great little hack to get some free research and some great stats that you can compare yourself to improve your SEO in the long run. So moving on to the third point now, and this is to use integration apps to your advantage when finding new and different keywords. So when it comes to Etsy SEO, I read a crazy stat that 90% of Etsy sellers don't use third-party integration apps for their keyword research, which in 2023 is just crazy to think of. So if you're doing proper keyword research using an integration app, then this is essentially already putting you ahead of 90% of the competition that just completely neglect this. And I mean, I've tried a few apps myself for this, but I've particularly been using Everbee a lot lately because of this super cool feature. So here you can just type in your keywords that you currently use, and then it will show you the search volume, the competition, and also the best bit, which is why I personally like Everbee so much, and that's the keyword score. So essentially, to rank higher, we want to use keywords that have super high search volumes and as low of the competition as possible. So that's exactly what this keyword score is. It's done the work for us already. And the higher the score, the better the ratio of searches to competition is. So this is incredibly valuable information for us Etsy sellers that, as I said, is going to put you ahead of so much of the competition. And I mean, of course it's up to you, but I would just really recommend that you use an app that can do this. And if you want to use the exact same tools that I use for my Etsy research, then I'll leave a link to Everbee down in the video description, where you can sign up for an account for free if you wish. And just on that, I'm really happy to say that Everbee have sponsored today's video. So of course, if you do go through the link to sign up for Everbee, it's going to help me out so much. But you know, even if you don't, no problem. But I would really recommend that you use a keyword research app for your keyword research, because honestly, it's just such an important step that I think it's just going to put you ahead of so much of the competition. But yeah, moving on to step 4 now, and this is to focus on positive shop performance. So you really have to consider that the whole purpose of Etsy is to just get buyers to spend as much money on the platform as possible, and then to also be satisfied enough that they want to return and spend more money on the platform. So a really key factor that Etsy looks at when determining what products to show to the customers is the odds that the customer is going to be happy and satisfied if they were to click and purchase that product. And I mean, just this information is something that is majorly overlooked by so many Etsy sellers. And this is where you have to pay attention to your customer feedback and your returning customer rate. And I mean, have you ever noticed that no matter what product you search for on Etsy, the highest results are always products with super high review scores that are pretty much 5-star or as close to 5-star as possible? Well, I don't think that's a coincidence, is it? This is very intentional by Etsy. So this is where I really recommend to focus, firstly, on improving your reviews. And I recommend to do this by providing excellent customer service, providing great packaging, and also offering fast and ideally free delivery. And then of course, if you get any bad reviews whatsoever, I recommend to do everything that you can to make sure that the customer ends up happy and you don't end up with a bad 1-star review. So even if this means refunding the customer, swallow your pride and just do it. And then of course you get more returning customers by offering things like return customer discounts and also providing products that the customers are actually going to be satisfied to buy. All right, so moving on to the 5th tip now, and this is going to be to focus on tick box searching. So this is what I'm going to coin the phrase for. But essentially, when I say tick box searching, I essentially just mean the options that Etsy shoppers can search for using the tick boxes in the filtering section of the search results. So again, this is just a massive one that is hugely overlooked by so many Etsy sellers. And just an example of this, think if you're charging just $1 for postage, then to me and you, this seems pretty fair, right? But in actual fact, this could be massively harming your Etsy SEO score. Because if you actually look on Etsy and you go to filtering, you can see that there's an option where people can tick to just show products with free delivery. And I mean, we know how many customers love free delivery and just how many people are definitely going to be clicking this tick box. So essentially, even if you're just charging your postage at $1, you're essentially completely counting yourself out of anybody that's searching for free delivery products. So what I recommend to do instead is to add the $1 to the product price that you're charging the customers and instead offer free delivery. So not only is this going to look better when your product actually shows up in search, but it's also going to give you a higher chance of being found in search if a customer is searching specifically with that box tick. And I've not seen this tip given anywhere online, but honestly, when I think about it, I'm like, that is just so obvious, right? I don't know. Let me know if you agree in the comments. And again, this is going to apply to any of the tick box search methods, but free delivery was just the main one that I could think of initially. But yeah, try it out with offering the free delivery and see if you get any increase in your traffic to your shop. And then of course, if you're massively interested in improving your Etsy SEO even further, then I really recommend to check out my Etsy SEO Ultimate Guide, which you'll see linked in the bottom left of this video now, because this is going to include a lot of tips that I haven't mentioned in this video. But yeah, take what I've said on board and I promise you'll get results. Thanks so much for watching and I'll see you on the next one.